Hi, I thought I should make a quick, brief video about the thoughts I just had. I've just been thinking about why do people hate vegans or veganism so much? Because a close friend of mine and I have been talking about veganism briefly, and we both agreed that it's so strange that we live in a world where you have to explain veganism. Why isn't it self-explanatory that not being an asshole is a good thing and that you should really try to not be an asshole? And obviously you shouldn't exploit other, or you shouldn't pay for the exploitation and torture of animals. And it doesn't matter at all how intelligent they are or how they look like or if they can speak or not. The only thing that matters is that they're sentient. So veganism itself is pretty self-explanatory. And so I just thought, why do people hate veganism and vegans so much? And the reason why they hate them so much is because veganism confronts them with the fact that they are not as good of a person. They're not as good people. They're not, sorry. They're not the good people that they think they are. They are actually assholes. They're cruel, violent assholes who pay for one of the worst tortures you can imagine. And that's what they're being confronted with, that they're not good people, actually. The behavior that they exhibit makes them bad people, actually. It's not what you believe or what you feel, it's what you do, what makes you a good or bad person. And of course, you cannot be the perfect good person and 100% morally perfect and being a bad or good person. That's a spectrum. But if you're not vegan, then you're very much at the end of being a very bad person. And people don't want that. They want to identify as good. It's about ego. Yeah, it hurts their ego if they get confronted that their identity doesn't match reality, or what they think they are isn't reality. And because it attacks their identity, that's making them so defensive and hateful, and yeah, to the point where even on Reddit, on the antinatalism subreddit, there have been fights about veganism, which is so strange to me, because how could you approve of how could you approve of antinatalism and not of veganism? Because how can you say, oh, it's unethical to create another person because then they are at risk of suffering, when veganism is about the very thing you want to protect those people from? The only difference is that they are a different species. And yeah. And if I remember it correctly, then I think when I uploaded a video about how I think that antinatalists should be vegan, I think a few people unsubscribed. Not many, not at all, but still. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if this would offend people again. And yeah, but that's the reason is because it attacks the identity of another person. And yeah. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether they get mad at vegans and express hate against them or veganism itself. That doesn't change the fact that they are paying for torture. It's indifferent what they say. They still are bad people based on how they act if they continue to buy those things. But yeah, I think I pretty much said it. You know, I said all important points. Oh, maybe another thing is that sure, it's if okay, well, it's yeah, that it's not only that the ego gets attacked from the people, their identity, and that they feel bad because of veganism, because it reminds them subconsciously that they're actually assholes. It's not only that, but also that if you really enjoy something, then you don't want anyone to tell you, oh, actually, what you're consuming is unethical. You don't want that to be taken away from you. So, yeah, so you try to justify it and you project and you get angry at veganism in this case because you don't want to, because it's difficult to admit and change your behavior. And it for a lot of people it is very difficult to stop consuming animal products. And that's another reason it's so inconvenient for them. And then, oh, and additionally, you'd have to become a vegan yourself, which means a part of your identity would change, and maybe the friends you have then all of a sudden would no longer like you as much. So, and then you would be on the receiving end of receiving the hatred. And yeah, it's not easy. And you can apply that to everything else that you can consume that's unethical, like fast fashion, porn, cheap products, etc., etc. But yeah, I know this channel is mainly supposed to be about antinatalism, and yeah, people would maybe prefer a video about antinatalism. But yeah, I don't know. That's just what I thought about. And maybe antinatalists are a little bit more susceptible to veganism because it already takes a certain level of open-mindedness to understand antinatalism. And maybe also because you have to consume food and all sorts of other products every day, and so each time you consume something, you can make the decision to consume vegan. And veganism is something you're never done with. It's something you choose over and over again. And antinatalism, well, antinatalism can be something that you choose over and over again. It depends if you're sexually active or not. If you aren't, then you don't have to take care of it as much, if at all. But if you are, then you take care of contraceptives, and then but you might get a vasectomy or sterilization, and then you're done with it for your whole life, pretty much. But you probably eat more food than you are physically intimate with another person, and so that's why I think veganism is still something really important to talk about, and because it is the very thing. Yeah, I don't know, whatever, I don't have to justify it. Both is important, and I just don't have anything interesting about antinatalism right now, but I had those thoughts about veganism, about how it attacks the identity, and that's why veganism is so hated. And you can apply that same thing to antinatalism. In a sense, having kids is a form of consumption too. It's mentally consuming the idea of, oh, my kids get to experience the world, and I don't know, whatever reasons people have to have kids is always to satisfy some needs. So having kids is a form of consumption. You are consuming the kids. Gosh, that sounds horrible. I hope you understand what I mean. You're metaphysically consuming them, psychologically. And so the people who want kids, who want to have them, or who do have them, it attacks their identity. And you can apply that logic onto antinatalism yourself. And anyways, I might delete this video because it's not as structured as I'd like it to be, or maybe I won't. We'll see. Whatever. All right. Thank you for listening.